For the full experience, make sure you're listening on headphones.
This is Mark. Besides being a sunglasses collector, Mark likes to draw music. First of all, Mark draws this melody and places it down to his left. After that, Mark colors a pulsing pad green and places it up to his right. So then Mark thinks of some voices and makes them come from far away on the right. Finally, Mark wants a quirky lit melody. He colors it in pink and places it up to his left. If you envy Mark for two things, his amazing sunglasses and his skill at distributing melodies in the space, then you will definitely be interested in today's plugin. It's called Eigen and it's created by Lese Audio. That's Mark's secret tool. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As anticipated in the intro, I suggest you watching this video wearing your headphones because we're gonna mainly focus on stereophonic processes. Today we are looking at Eigen, a plugin which was developed by Lese Audio. What does it do? It simulates realistic acoustic spaces and additionally creates impulse responses you can furtherly use within Eigen itself or any other convolution reverb. To demonstrate how it works, I pulled up this drum loop. I routed it to a mixer channel and I opened up an instance of Eigen. That's how my drum loop sounds now. Let's turn it off. And on again. So let's focus on the main essential controls. First we got the source and the listener. These represent the 3D positions of where the sound is coming from and where it's being heard by the listener. It's possible to move them using the slider, which I personally find more intuitive, or you can also move them in the visual positioner right here. Pay attention to how the sound changes while I'm moving the source and the listener cubes. On the right, we got the room section. Here you can set the dimensions of your virtual room. On the bottom left, we got the material options, which are still part of the room section. In Eigen, each wall, the floor, and the ceiling can have their own material. You can cycle through the different surfaces by clicking on the cube right here. You can choose the specific material you want for that surface. For example, you can set one wall to concrete, the back wall to wood, maybe the floor to thick carpet. Each material has different absorption and reflection properties. This will affect and change how the sound behaves inside your virtual space. If you don't want to adjust each surface individually, you can click on the circle in the top right corner. From here, you can either apply the same material to all the surfaces, or you can also pick from different presets. Let's try the bedroom preset. Let's now set all the surfaces to be concrete. So then we got the depth control, which controls how many reflections are processed in real time. We can go from just the direct sound all the way up to hundreds of reflections. Finally, we got the spatial mode, which is strictly related to the spatial quality. It determines how realistic the spatialization will sound. We got mono, which essentially processes the sound as a single channel, then simply copies it to the left and right outputs. It's basically a center mono sound. Then we got stereo, which already creates a more natural sense of space compared to mono, but it's still fairly basic. And then we got the two final modes. We got binaural, which simulates how our head shape incoming audio signals, resulting in a way more realistic three-dimensional image of the reflections, because you will not only hear sounds coming from the left and the right, but also a sense of distance or elevation. And finally, we got the high-quality binaural, which uses even more advanced filtering and delivers more precise spatial image, but it's also a little bit more CPU intensive, so you might want to switch between the regular and the high quality version. So let's now say I'm done with shaping my virtual space and I'm satisfied with it. We can now switch to the render mode of the plugin, which essentially lets you turn your acoustic design into a real usable reverb effect, either inside Eigen itself or in any other convolution plugin. It calculates a high quality impulse response based on the room dimensions, materials, and the positions of your source and listener. You can think of it like taking snapshots of the virtual space you've just designed. To generate it, I need to click on render, and then I can view how my impulse response looks like as an audio waveform, and I can also play it. After the rendering, I can enable the convolution function from the button in the top right corner. This essentially tells Eigen to take the impulse response you've just created and apply it to your sound. So the plugin is turning into a convolution reverb now. So let's do it, and let's play around with the mix knob here to find a sweet spot. The very interesting thing is that if you want to use the impulse response you created inside Eigen, you can click the save icon, you can save it in your computer and use it in any other convolution reverb plugin that you want. The final and super nerdy feature of Eigen is the analyze function. This section is not about processing audio, it's more of a diagnostic tool. It takes all of the parameters, the source, the material, the dimension of your room, and it shows you how the space colors the sound frequency-wise. The output covers roughly 20 to 350 Hz, which is the range where resonances and cancellations are more noticeable, and it's really useful to predict how your virtual room will behave, especially before you commit to render an impulse response. Okay, after this technical walkthrough, I will leave you to a practical demonstration of Eigen inside Logic Pro X by Larua. If you're interested in purchasing the plugin, I encourage you to do so through the link in the description and using this code to get the 30% of the plugin. With that said, I will see you next time.
Yo guys, I will now cook up with Eigen. So my idea was that I create a few buses with each an instance of Eigen on it, and they have a separate room. I will route a few elements that I'm using for my track to these different buses, so they are basically being sent into different rooms. I wanted to start with a simple piano melody. Okay, I will now create the first room. As you can hear, it already sounds like super far away, super quiet. Let me name this bus room 1. Work on the piano a little bit more. My idea is to kind of chop it up. Now I'm gonna take these reverse bits and I will route them to a different room with another instance of Eigen. I'm gonna choose another preset. I'm using the stairwell. Let me redesign this a little bit. Okay, I just created another melody. This one I will have Eigen directly on. Okay, now I'm having it pretty much on my right. Let's now bring some more sounds in. Bro, ich war heute den ganzen Tag nicht da. Okay, I'm gonna take the reverse elements and link them to the same bus that I got the other reverse piano. So room 2. I like it, I like it. Gonna use a few of these sounds that Margot created. You see these tiny amplitudes. I like to chop them up and use them rhythmically throughout the beat. Da, da, da. I'm gonna push that down. I'm gonna do something special with this one. Let's get an OTT on the piano. Now that we created sort of a rhythm, I would like to put that in another room. I'm creating a new melodic layer. I'm taking this one Eigen out, put another halftime on it. I also have to see how I can use this layer. I might just put it into the third. Right now I got a loop which I am quite happy with at the moment. I'm now going to link the sound that I just created to the third room as well. Maybe even the second room. Okay guys, this is the full track. Thank you for sticking with me and ciao.
That's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, I invite you to leave a like and maybe even a nice comment to support the channel. Finally, I'd like to remind you that if you're interested in purchasing Eigen, you can do so through the link in the description and using this code, which will give you a 30% discount. See you next time.